Hey guys and girls, I'm just kind of out and about and just kind of listening to some of my usual, pundits and podcast people that are out there, and I think I'm probably the only one that I've seen or listened to, and even just social media in general, Twitter, Parler, Rumble, all these places. Probably the only one that is just calm and relaxed. I'm not bothered one iota over everything that's kind of going on. And there's people saying, they wish they were as calm and collected as I am based on what they're seeing. And I guess the reason why I'm calm and I'm not bothered, worried one bit is, number one, I'm not listening to mainstream media. And that includes Fox. I'll listen to excerpts of Lou Dobbs. I'll listen to excerpts of Maria Bartiromo, but I don't dial into Fox News. I don't dial in and listen to mainstream media. It's fear porn, and they're trying to get you into a tizzy and what have you. That's number one. Number two, our wonderful, beautiful Constitution that the deep state, and I try to make a point not to use the word left, because it's not just the left, it's the right as well. It's a whole deep state institution. It's a whole deep state elite structure. So they're trying to get rid of the Constitution, and because there are checks and balances in it to avoid and resolve issues that we're seeing even today. So I just don't see a line of sight through the checks and balances of our Constitution where Biden wins. I just don't see it. I don't even see the remotest of possibilities. There will be checks and balances. There is enough anomalies, to put it nicely, to put it kindly, in what we're seeing in the election, that it will go through the judicial system. It will go through, and Trump will have another 4 years in office. I don't see even a hint of that, any alternative happening other than that. The only people that are skewing that image is the mainstream media, and that includes all the above that I mentioned earlier. And they're basically touting and saying things to make you think that they have a voice in who the election winner is. They don't choose the president. They don't choose the winners and losers. The media don't do that. Now, them being a key component to the propaganda engine that is the face of the deep state, they're doing a hell of a good job for those people that pay attention to it, making you think they decide the election, but they don't. They really don't. So that foundationally is why I guess I'm just not bothered. Number one, I don't listen to them, and I know how elections are done, and if there's any scrupulous behavior behind it, that those issues will be resolved. So those things are kind of key point of. And then the other thing with Sidney Powell and the president's team that's around him. There's two objectives here, and I think I saw this even when it first came out, and probably why I thought it was curious. The notices that went out and the distancing of the Trump legal team, but it didn't bother me, and here's why. And I think it's kind of coming out now too. Is there's two objectives here. Number one is Trump's legal team correcting and properly aligning the election results for the winner. I think even Trump would tell you, if legitimately, legally, optically, Biden won the election, he would concede and move on. But we all know that's not true. I know, and I have complete peace of mind that that's not true. So Rudy Giuliani and the legal team are looking at the mail-in vote. They're looking at the elements that will correct the voting irregularities that were where malfeasance was exercised and was was skewed. All right, and we all know this. So that is their job one. What Sidney Powell is working on, which is the Dominion voting system, that's a big ass ball of wax. That's, I think, only the tip of the instrument was actually exposed by what Sidney was talking about. I think that's gonna turn into a monster of a corrupt system that's probably globally impacting. My personal belief on that front is that the Dominion voting system is something that's probably being leveraged worldwide by many corrupt leaders to ensure their re-elections, and the deep state is using that system here in our country to do the same. It would certainly explain how the Pelosi's of the world, the Mad Maxines of the world, the Schiffs of the world, the Ocasio-Cortezes of the world, the Ilhan Omars of the world, how they even managed to get into office. There has to be unscrupulous criminal activities behind, those elections. And I think that effort that Sidney Powell is working on is going to unfold, and it's going to expose, and it's going to be just crazy. I think it will blow your mind. I'm already kind of prepared for what's going to come out of that. So that, again, this is why I guess I'm not bothered by anything that's going on. Anything. I'm sleeping well at night. I'm planning on enjoying Thanksgiving. I'm planning on enjoying time with my family. Be damned with any government leader tries to say or do. Maybe I shouldn't put that out there, but hey, it is what it is. I'm also, I guess on a slight tangent, I'm kind of happy to see a lot of businesses and we the people rising up and just saying hell no to these dictatorial mandates that they're putting out there, because it's just it's criminal, it's evil, and I'm happy to see people finally standing up and saying, enough. I don't think so. So that's good. The other thing, the only thing that does give me a little bit of pause, and it does, keep me kind of dialed in to some degree, and that is the chaos that will unfold once this is all kind of legally kind of processed. And there will be chaos. There's no question about it. I think the population that's brainwashed by the deep state that will rise up and will implode because of what we're going to rightfully correct, I don't think they're near as big as people, the media, the deep state propaganda engine makes you believe they are. So I'm not overly concerned about it, but I just don't think there's that many of those people out there. But whatever may happen, I'm fully prepared, and I've been prepared for years for any possible eventualities that may come out of that. I've been kind of seeing the writing on the wall since 2016 around that, so I'm prepared. And then I don't live in a city. I kind of live out in the country to some degree, so there are those that would have to really go out of their way to come to where I am. But if they do, again, I'm prepared and not looking for trouble, but I certainly will protect my family to the end. So there's that. And then the only other thing I kind of wanted to make note of, if I can kind of get my train of thought here. You have to excuse me, guys. I'm kind of running around doing a few errands, getting ready for the holidays. And I had some friends come by the house the other day, and I do like my bourbon, whiskey, scotches, and he brought a bottle of something that I never heard of before. And so I'm going to go buy a bottle of it because it was really good. I don't have I got the name written down, so I would tell you otherwise. If anybody's listening to this and is curious, I can kind of comment back what it is. But I'm going to go buy that. I lost my complete train of thought. Anyway, I would just encourage any of you out there that are paying attention. The few people that might listen to any of this, is don't listen to the mainstream media. Don't listen to the mainstream media. I've become, for quite some time now, a big fan of Newsmax. I'm listening more and more to OAN. I'm listening to, I think it's One America Voice. And I really go there more than anything else because of Steve Bannon's kind of war room that he does from 10 to 12 and then from 5 to 7 weekdays. But Newsmax has been great. So listen to them. They're much more fair and balanced. And then there's a few people that have hung around on YouTube that haven't been blocked yet. But because of all the shutting down of YouTube and the censorship of YouTube, I've also moved over to Rumble. So Rumble's been really good for at least catching what some other thought leaders out there are putting in this political landscape that we're in. But there are some on YouTube that I still kind of pay attention to. But YouTube's becoming increasingly less and less relevant. Twitter is the only reason why I even go to Twitter now is because Trump hasn't jumped to Parler yet. I'm just waiting on the day for him to do that. But he does put stuff out there, so I kind of follow him there. Where should you kind of get your information without getting triggered? Again, some select channels on YouTube. Happy to respond back to any asks, who that might be. BCP is just one of them. I like the Still reports. The other thing is on Rumble and Parler. Clout Hub is also being a location that I'm kind of going out there. So if I post anything, I tend to post to Parler, Rumble. I'll put it on YouTube, for the few that are still there. But those are my go-tos. But listen to the press conferences. The press conference that Rudy Giuliani, Sidney Powell, and the rest of the legal team did last week was so informative. It really was. So you listen to them, look at the the tweets that are put out there by our president and put out there by some of the other close allies of the president. And it's not trying to be in an echo chamber, but at least listen to what they're doing. Don't listen to the mainstream media. There was one YouTube video I watched this morning, and I cannot remember. I can't think of the name of the legal advisor that's spearheading the legal team for Trump. It's not Rudy Giuliani. It's the other young lady, brilliant young lady. Her name escapes me for the moment, but I think it was MSNBC, and I knew it was going to be kind of a stupid interview, but it was a 6 or 7 minute interview. And the pundit did all the talking. He wouldn't let her respond to anything. And she was basically countering some points he was making, which was just spin, and he wouldn't let her talk. So it's kind of predictable. That's why I just don't listen to him. Anyway, I hope this is helpful. I would just suggest, if you want to get unkeyed, if you want to get untriggered, if you want to have some peace and serenity, take the advice of the few things that I pointed out, and I think all will work out. Have faith. The checks and balances of our wonderful Constitution are going to right the wrongs. And I think what Sidney Powell's doing, what the legal team's doing, I think in the second term of our president, there's going to be a lot of actionable cleaning up taking place in our deep state system. I think the true draining of the swamp is going to take place. I think the first term of President Trump was accomplishing stuff, but setting the stage. And the second term is going to be executing and pulling the trigger on a lot of stuff that's been collected and cleanup that needs to take place. A true reset is going to take place through that presidency. And that's why the deep state engine is freaking out as much as they are. Why they're saying and doing a lot of the things they're saying, because this is it. This is the end game here, guys. So be prepared. Watch your back, unplug so you don't get triggered and anxious, and enjoy your family. Talk soon, love. Love you guys.